This is a Fatal 4 podcast.
Homeless with Jericho away, up on his shoulders. Go to sleep. Vintage Punk. Oh, I was about to say I didn't think Punk got all of that, and obviously he didn't.
Welcome to Didn't Get All of It, folks. I'm Paul Griffin, and today on the show, we are talking about so many things. AEW is back on the menu this week. Apparently, WWE believes in Joe Hendry, and spooky season has arrived a little early, and we're going to get all into that. But first, joining me is the rest of the Fatal 4 minus B-Rob. It's Cody.
I think after this week, we need to rebrand to the Fatal Fours, but like F-O-R-E-S.
That's very confusing because we've been telling people it's F-O-U-R for the longest time.
Don't listen to me.
Also joining us, he's our resident sick. It's Noah.
What? Wait, what's the joke there? Are we pivoting to a golf podcast? The Fatal Four. What's the joke?
No, the joke is that this new Bray Wyatt group is called the Wyatt Sicks, but it's like S-I-C-K-S, even though it's the number. So I was just using another homophone? Homophone?
It's
No,
also...
synonym. Synonym? No, homophone. For four. And F-O-R-E is what I came up with.
It's Pride Month, so we should have some homophones.
Happy Pride, everybody.
This is great. Now we're going to lose all of our radical right-wing listeners.
Oh, no.
They just thought of a rainbow, and they're going to lose their fucking minds.
Yeah. They can go buy some Nikes and then set themselves on fire. It's fine.
Hey, Paul, Mr. Graphics man, why didn't we change all of our social media icons to Pride?
Oh, that's
colors?
A good idea. We should have done that.
We should have done that.
Maybe next year.
Have a rainbow lady doing a moonsault.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out if calling someone a rainbow lady is offensive or not. It probably is. It sounds very derogatory.
I don't know.
Like,
Depends on how you
was
say
walking
it.
down the street and I saw a damn rainbow lady. It's like,
couple of rainbow ladies moved in next door.
yeah. If it's not derogatory, it is now.
Isn't that unfortunate that like rainbow has become like you can't just wear rainbows in public anymore without people like assuming things? Or like like the stance that you're taking, you know?
I saw a rainbow outside the other day after it rained, and it made me think someone's really mad about that. And that made me laugh.
Like, remember when people were mad at Target? Like, they have gay stuff in they're selling gay stuff in the Targets now, and like they were picking up, like they were in the children's section, and they were like, "Look what they're selling to children," and it was just like a children's book that had nothing to do with, you know, gay pride, and it just had a rainbow on it. And they were like, "Oh,
Rainbows,
look at this!"
Like, have been on child things forever.
I like the idea of look what they're selling to children, except children don't have jobs or money. Like, look what the adults are buying for children is really what's happening. Anyway,
happy Pride, everybody.
I feel like, I don't know. I was trying to make a transition earlier about losing our minds and getting right into this Wyatt Sicks stuff that is happening on Raw. This is kind of the big thing that happened on the show. I think we could just jump right into it.
I want you guys to talk about it first. So
I have several opinions on it that are varying, but for people who missed out, the end of Raw basically ends with Bray Wyatt's old music playing, and they turned the gorilla position area into what looked like a really crappy horror haunted house thing, and the cameraman went back there, and like everyone's dead. It looked like Chad Gable got shot in the head.
You did.
Like really weird silliness.
Yeah.
In context,
There was
with
someone
the show.
else. There was someone else up against a wall. I couldn't make out who it was, but there was like a very large blood splatter on the wall behind him that would only be generated from a gunshot wound.
Yeah.
So Uncle Howdy,
Gun Howdy.
Uncle Howdy likes to use guns, apparently.
Gun Howdy.
So yeah,
is how people greet you when you walk into a gun store in Texas.
As this happens, yeah, they hand you a gun and they say howdy. We have Nikki Cross crawling out from the doorway, and then they go to the back, and we see, I guess, the personification of the puppets. In some way, they're like spooky puppet people. There's like a pig man and a hammer man, and like I don't know what the fuck these things are. But
Cool
Eric
buzzard
Rowan's
skull
there.
guy with dreads.
I will say I did enjoy the Eric Rowan look because it felt very like I mixed all this shit together from my career, and I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, Joe Gacy was there and Dexter Loomis, and then it ended with Uncle Howdy in the hallway doing, I guess, his best Raven pose and walking through the madness they created, and then they posed on the ramp and said, "We're here." So this was after this episode of Raw, which was a very good episode in general.
Yeah.
This feels extremely out of place, and I'm almost not sure how it even makes sense in the context of wrestling. And I know that wrestling's had like spooky stuff before, but it just feels so... It just doesn't seem like it fits anymore. Maybe they'll change my mind next week, but...
Over the top.
Cody, you love this, right?
No. I'm not gonna...
Judging by your reactions through text, it feels like main roster WWE has been ruined for you.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is my personal 9/11. I hated this. I'm sorry. I understand Bray Wyatt.
The Pentagon.
I understand Bray Wyatt's very beloved. I understand that he's dead. But this shit sucks.
It did cross my mind that what if he wasn't and he faked it for an angle?
No.
Like,
That would be
I know
insane.
that's an absurd thing to say, but also that feels like something that they would have tried.
I enjoyed Bray Wyatt as the Wyatt family character. Him, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan. They did some really cool stuff, especially, with the Shield, and had a lot of good matches and cool moments. But the moment that all dissolved and everyone kind of went off and did their own things, I didn't enjoy a single thing that Bray Wyatt did for the rest of his career. I think the Fiend stuff is lame. It sucks, and it should have died with him. I understand Bo Dallas is his brother, and maybe this is honoring him, and maybe this is what Bray would have wanted. I don't care. This is not what I want. This is not what I want in my pro wrestling in 2024. It's hokey. It's cartoonish. It's over the top. It's unnecessary.
I think on one hand, what this is actually a very nice thing, and there's clearly a huge market for it. One that I do not understand at all.
Kids love it. Kids love spooky stuff.
I don't see anybody shitting on it. Like in any of my timelines, people are obsessed with this, and they love spookiness, and they love the lore, and they're like, this needs to be Undertaker and Kane. And I'm like, first of all, Undertaker and Kane kind of sucked for a while too. Let's not pretend that they were just perfect at the time. Like Undertaker was pretty bad for a good amount of his career, and Kane is a horrible human being on top of kind of stinking as a wrestler from time to time. That's another thing that I want to flag here is that people don't realize that the only good wrestler in this group is Nikki Cross?
I mean, that's debatable. Joe Gacy's had a couple okay matches.
I like
NXT.
Dexter Lumis.
What?
I
What?
Dexter Lumis doesn't
just because you like him
anything
doesn't
for
mean
me.
he's good.
I enjoyed matches.
I love
that
Tegan
I've
Knox,
seen
but
Dexter
let's be
Lumis
real,
in.
she's not crushing it every time she's out there.
I
Then
mean,
Bo Dallas hasn't wrestled in 20 years.
Yeah, that I don't. I have never seen Bo Dallas wrestle.
It wasn't great back in the day.
But
Extremely mediocre is how I would describe his in-ring work.
Well,
I mean, maybe there'll be enough smoke and mirrors to make it seem like something interesting's happening.
That's the other
But
guy.
who?
That's the WWE champion.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know what do you do here? They killed a bunch of people backstage. How is this not like a bigger crime scene? Like we just went to NXT the next
Call
night
the
and it was
police.
fine.
Right. And then I'm especially gonna hate this if when the bell rings we get the same kind of shit we got with the Fiend, where like they're pulling out mallets and they're unstoppable and they don't sell anything.
Yeah, that's it's super detrimental to the other performers if you do big moves and they just get right back up.
Yeah.
I get a suspension of disbelief thing, but it still comes off really terrible, and it didn't work when they did it with Seth and The Fiend.
Sure. And so here's where I'm coming at it from, or here's kind of my idea, my thoughts about it, is that with the Wyatt family stuff was cool and great. And y'all, obviously have feelings about the Fiend arc of Bray Wyatt's career. The thing I find interesting about that is that, and I honestly I liked the Fiend. I did not love the Firefly Funhouse stuff. I thought that stuff was a little too goofy for me. That's just not a flavor of horror that I love. It felt a little too Happy Tree Friends in a way, if you know what I mean. The hot
I used
topic
to love Happy Tree Friends when I was in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I grew up and I'm like, this is so lame.
It was a time and place. But I do like the Fiend. I like the Fiend character. I like the presentation the WWE brought to the Fiend. But also remember that stuff was while Vince was around, kind of having a his say in how some of that stuff was done and presented. And then when the Uncle Howdy stuff started happening, Vince had kind of been removed from the situation at that point.
Still kind of lurking.
He was lurking.
Evil Uncle Howdy.
But also, and I watched the Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal documentary recently. And even in that, they admit that Bray Wyatt was very, he had a lot of ownership over his ideas and was actually could be pretty combative with production over the direction that he wanted to go with his stories and ideas. And I feel like you could kind of feel that with the way that the Uncle Howdy stuff was while he was still around. It felt really unfocused. You couldn't really tell where it was going. It felt like he was really pulling it in a bunch of different directions. But what I find interesting about this, now that it is Bo Dallas kind of, taking the helm of it, really, driving the creative vision of it, and also working with WWE production, I feel like, Bo obviously wants to honor his brother's legacy with these characters, but I feel like he will not be as, take so much ownership over it that Bray did, and be kind of more, combative about it. So I feel like this time around, it has the we haven't seen it yet, but it has the potential to be more focused and really have more, a better idea of what's going on. You know what I mean? And I feel like you've kind of seen that in some of the like QR code, like ARG kind of stuff happening. Like that stuff has kind of felt a little more, like you have more of a sense of tone and who these characters are going to be. So I'm as a lover of horror and spooky things, and like that, wanting that stuff to have a place in professional wrestling, I am excited.
I think that's another thing worth calling out is like, this is my defense of SNL all the time. Wrestling has lots of things in it for everyone. If you don't like it in 10 minutes, they'll be on to the next thing.
Yeah, there's so much other stuff happening on the main roster of WWE. But also,
that said, I really hate this.
But also, like,
it's going to consume the show and they're going to kill Chad Gable. I don't like it.
I don't know. I feel like Chad's going to be fine next week.
No, they took him out of the match.
They took him out of the Money in the Bank.
Did they took him out of the match?
They took him out of the match and replaced him with Ilya, which could set up things to be really interesting if Ilya wins Money in the Bank.
What if they do like a Malachi Black Mist situation and he's corrupted?
Fuck. He's already corrupted. He's an asshole. He's the best heel in the industry.
What if he's actually like a good guy now? They shot his evilness out of his brain.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's just like, thank you.
Oh no.
He's like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be mean to you.
Otis, we're friends now.
I mean, I could see this prolonging their split because they all ditched him earlier in the show before he got murdered.
Yeah.
And maybe they feel bad that, like,
it's their fault he got killed by the Wyatt Sicks.
Obviously, they're upset with him and stuff, but they don't hate the guy because they all liked him.
Yeah, Maxine feels bad.
Yeah. She feels bad all the time.
She feels bad all the time.
I don't know. I think you have they obviously want to honor the legacy properly. So I think it's probably in good hands. I don't think the company also wants to go out there and taint it. This is not the same company that had Randy Orton crash Eddie Guerrero's car into, the fucking stage after he died to like get over as a heel. Things have definitely changed. That said, they are called the Wyatt Sicks, like sickos, and there's only 5 of them. Is number 6 the spirit of Bray Wyatt, or
is it
else?
Alexa?
Better not be,
because we haven't seen her.
Better fucking not be.
And in the Becoming Immortal documentary, she was in it frequently, talking about how much she loves this universe of characters.
Yeah, I mean, the only logic I could see with putting her in there, which I really don't want her to get spookified.
I think she wants to be spookified.
I don't want it. She's got a kid. Don't scare the kids. I could see them doing that if they wanted her and Nikki Cross to go after the tag titles again, and they have that established history already. So maybe there's something to that.
That'd be so great if they were together again. Because I love
no, she went to therapy. He's not spooky anymore.
She should feud with them instead. Alexa Bliss, babyface, should come back and be like, Nikki Cross, what the fuck's wrong with you? You should get into therapy.
Yeah, she should.
And then they wrestle instead.
She should be the therapist pusher. Every match should be brought to you by BetterHelp.
Does she team up with Braun Strowman? If that's
that's the other thing is he was out there right before all this stuff happened. So is he the 6th? He's also like doing next to nothing right now.
He's chasing around Jay-Z McDonough.
That's what I said.
For the record, I liked Undertaker and Kane. I grew up with that.
I liked them too, but I'm not going to pretend that they were like excellent all the time. They did some dumb shit.
Sure, but
especially when Undertaker returned as the dead man from like when he was American Badass and then turned into the zombie again, and like that fucking match with the Dudley Boys and Paul Bearer getting cemented on the stage, like this stuff wasn't good.
Yeah, but it wasn't like he was just like Undertaker, but he wasn't like doing over the top spooky shit at that point.
He did
like
buckle
the
up,
spooky
Teddy.
elements. Yeah, but like
He made Randy Orton's dad bleed like goo.
okay, yeah, so it was not good. Truly the only good spooky character in the history of wrestling is
Here
the
comes.
Boogeyman.
Yep, there it is.
It's the Boogeyman.
Maybe he's the
Boogeyman was
worst.
actually good.
What if they put the Boogeyman in the Wyatt Sicks? Would that make you like it?
Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, I would like 1/6 of it.
Yeah,
Boogeyman was pretty okay.
we all thought
Actually, think it would be very
is,
funny.
Is the sixth one the spirit of Bray Wyatt? Is it Alexa? Turns out it was the Boogeyman.
It's the Boogeyman all along. It's Hornswoggle. He's under the ring.
I think
we've only seen one segment. I think it was over the top and it didn't fit at all.
Okay.
But let's see how it plays out, folks.
Yeah.
Maybe the sixth is the fiends we made along the way.
Yeah. It's the fans. It's the Fiend universe.
It's the Fireflies.
WW Fiend universe. Also on Raw, a couple things worth pointing out. Drew McIntyre quit.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm out. Bye.
I could just see this being like he's there next week. He's just like ribbing Punk because Punk quit.
No, I think it'd be really cool. I think he should like lay low for a couple weeks. He deleted all of his socials or deactivated them at least.
Is he on the roster page? Did anyone check?
Ooh, I can check that right now.
It just occurred to me.
Like, play it up like he really did quit. I think he should show up at Impact, now that they have that working relationship. Well, I guess we'll find out tonight on SmackDown because CM Punk will be there. It's in Chicago. We'll see if there's any progress on this story.
Yeah, but what if the Wyatt Sicks takes out CM Punk?
Oh my god. They better not show up on SmackDown too.
I bet they do.
I hope they do. That's kind of where all this started, wasn't it? I think it was
Adam
SmackDown
Pearce and Nick Aldis are going to get into a bidding war to sign them to the show. We
More
want the
QR
murderers
code.
on our show. Also Seth Rollins is back. That was a surprise.
Yeah, that
was a surprising way to start the show.
Yeah,
I was not expecting him back so soon.
He said he was going to win Money in the Bank and go challenge for the title, and Damian Priest came out and said, "You know how to do that. I'll give you a title shot right now." So that was cool.
Yeah,
he's going to get over as a babyface whenever that does happen for him because he's a fighting champion.
Yeah, no, I thought this was actually huge for Priest. His performance at Clash was really, really good, and I was worried about how they were going to follow it up. I think this was perfect to have him be like, I wanted to cash in on you, and I will give you the opportunity. You don't need to win Money in the Bank. We can just wrestle.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, good stuff.
I do think he's losing, though.
I don't.
Really? I don't think so either.
I think he's losing to
Man.
Gunther.
I don't think you really think we're getting Gunther versus Damian Priest?
Yeah.
Also, like putting the belt back on Seth so soon feels kind of boring to me.
Yeah, what does that do?
It gets us Seth versus Gunther at SummerSlam, which would fucking slap.
You're getting Seth versus Bo Dallas at SummerSlam.
No.
It's because the Fiend always hated Seth Rollins because of that Hell in a Cell match they had that was one of the worst in history. Speaking of getting over as a babyface, when we come back, we are talking about a couple things. AEW, we got later on in the show, but right after this break, we are getting into, unfortunately, they did it again, folks. We're talking about NXT somewhere. Right after this.
Say his name and he appears. Joe Hendry is here in NXT.
I believe in Joe Hendry. Do all of you? Welcome back to Didn't Get All of It. We're going to talk about NXT this week again because they're doing cool shit. Including,
Yeah, it turns out to get us to talk about NXT is to bring in people from TNA. Because otherwise, you don't care.
They opened NXT this week with a battle royal to determine the number one contender for the NXT championship at Heatwave, which takes place the weekend of Money in the Bank. And Ava, I think, or maybe Shawn Michaels, I don't know, whoever makes the matches down there, had said last week that, this battle royal is going to include people from all sorts of locker rooms.
Actually, that was the other general manager, Cody Rhodes, who said that.
Oh, right. That's right. Sorry. They've got so many authority figures down there.
He's an interim EVP at NXT.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is it with wrestling promotions based out of Florida where they just have to have a million authority figures at once?
I think their authority figures are Ava, Shawn Michaels, Cody Rhodes, and Sexy Red. And and Shotzi at Halloween only.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe Shotzi's in the Wyatt Sicks.
Is
Hell
is Sexy Red going to be a general manager in WWE 2K25?
I hope not.
Could see that.
Anyway, the show opened up with this battle royal and with a whole bunch of folks already in the ring. And then, as we heard, the first entrance we saw on TV was TNA's Joe Hendry.
Hell yes. I feel like this is kind of a no-brainer, right? I feel like thanks to memes and the internet, like I could not name you like the names in TNA probably on one hand, but I know Joe Hendry is one of them. I know Joe Hendry's on the show and Jordan Grace. Those are like the two names that I could just off the top of my head I can tell you are people that exist at TNA.
I felt it was a missed opportunity not bringing him out either on SmackDown or at Clash of the Castle when they were in Scotland, considering he's from there.
I think you could have done it at Clash, but they haven't really established the TNA crossover on any other portions of the show except for NXT.
True.
So it just feels like it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, but they also had Mickie James as the knockout champion in the Royal Rumble. And Jordan Grace was in the Royal Rumble. They could have done it at Clash of the Castle and just been like, oh my God, it's Joe Hendry from TNA.
Look who's here.
Yeah. But anyway, this was awesome. That video of him making his entrance at that Battle Royal is now the most liked social media clip on WWE social media since WrestleMania 40.
So
millions of views.
Here's the thing that I need help with. This is the first time I've seen Joe Hendry. And
which is wild because you're on pro wrestling Twitter.
I know. I've actively avoided it because right now he's just the meme guy. I see why he's appealing based on this. I'm intrigued to see more. I'm curious. Has anyone ever seen him wrestle before?
No, of course not.
I went out of my way to look up some in-ring action with him.
What kind of variation of the cutter does he do as a finishing move?
I couldn't tell you.
Is he any good?
He seems fine.
He didn't last long in the Battle Royal, so there's really no way to find out if he's more than personality.
That was disappointing. The crowd definitely did not like that he was immediately eliminated. He pretty much got oh my God, Muhammad Hassan. There we go. And everyone ganged up on him and threw him out of the ring. There was a clip that they posted on social media of him going up to Shawn Michaels shortly after that and complaining. And all reports indicate that WWE is thrilled with how it went. Fightful said that officials within NXT were, quote, very happy with the response that Joe Hendry received.
They fucking should be.
Yeah.
He's like the most over guy they have there.
More
I wish
than
there was
anyone
more
else on their roster.
I wish there was more details about this TNA working relationship that they have, and it's unfortunate they don't have any journalists at these press conferences to ask Triple H these questions, because it is weird. Like, it's just weird. The whole thing's weird, and I think there's like, what's going on here? Are they buying this company? Is it just like, are they funneling money into it at all? What is happening? Obviously, it's a nice way of contract tampering, so they can get certain people they want exposed on their show. So when the time comes, they can float them a huge check, and that's good for them business wise. But what's going on here?
Yeah, and I apologize. I don't remember if y'all talked about it last week, but the WWE is like, there's rumors that they're pursuing a relationship with Pro Wrestling Noah as well, right?
Yeah, I thought that's what
With
you were doing. Yeah.
yeah.
Weren't you out last week talking to them about that?
Do what?
Weren't you out last week because you were talking to them about that?
Because yeah, that was my trip, was to WWE headquarters. But yeah, WWE is making moves with some of these smaller companies.
$1 million moves. By the way, Joe Hendry was not the only TNA star in this battle royal. Frankie Kazarian was also
Kazarian
this match.
Yeah, one, that was a weird way to say it, but also
what? How do you say it?
Kazarian. He's been wrestling for 25 fucking years. You don't know his name?
What did I say?
Kazarian.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's not what it is.
Them differently.
What do you mean?
There's two different
Kazarian.
There have been two pronunciations. Kazarian.
You don't go around talking about the great Aryan race. It's Kazarian.
All right, Kaz was in the match and had a pretty decent showing. He made it to the final four. I thought it was also, I think this must have been on purpose, kind of cute that the final four of this match, each person kind of represented a different company or a different locker room, I guess, to use Cody's words. The eventual winner, the young OG, was there representing NXT. Kaz was there representing TNA, and Dragon Lee from WWE, and Sean Spears from AEW.
Yeah, kind of.
Um,
They are putting him and Ethan Page together, though. So there's probably something to that.
Sure.
But it was weird because, like, at the end of this show, there was what's his name? Put his number one contendership on the line against Ethan Page.
Yeah, Javon.
And it looks like we're not getting a one-on-one match at Heatwave. But
No.
maybe a four-way, despite the fact that Sean Spears didn't win this battle royal. They framed the last shot of NXT with all four guys laid out with the title between all of them. And to me, that comes off as we're finding a way to make a fatal four-way, even though we had a battle royal to determine a single number one contender.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Well, I hope we get more Joe Hendry on
Hell yeah.
WWE television soon.
That sounds like something that's going to happen.
It sounds like something that they want.
Yeah. Like, from what I've seen online today, is that they not only are they happy with him, they're excited to bring him around for more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with that reaction, why wouldn't you, right? Maybe we'll even see him on the NXT debut episode on the CW network, which got announced yesterday that it is going to be on October 1st. And there are reports that NXT is looking into having that show on the road somewhere in an arena outside of the Performance Center.
They
and
need
then
to
back
get the
to the
hell
Performance Center.
out of there.
Probably, yes.
Honestly, that is like one of the biggest like roadblocks to me watching NXT these days is that I just cannot stand the CWC. Like that place sucks.
It's a pretty.
Oh, it's not on the CW yet. It's going to be there October 1st. Just said that.
It's not a great venue.
Yeah, I actually noticed that watching it this week. Like, a big flaw of it for me is the audio, because it's so small, and like the crowd, like I feel like you hear everything from the crowd. So like, a few people will start a chant or something, and it's just like too loud. And sometimes I couldn't hear commentary. Like, there were people in this battle royal, I have no idea who they were because I don't recognize them. And anytime commentary said their name, I couldn't hear what they were saying. Like, some dude was out there wrestling. Some dude was out there wrestling in like a hockey jersey that I have no idea.
Oh yeah, that
Balls
Balls Mahoney looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
Who was that?
I have no idea.
Was he just one of the fans who got into the ring?
Very well could be.
Get some wrestling gear. Did we know? Like, we knew they were going to CW. We didn't have a date until this week.
I think we had like a window, but I guess not a
Yeah,
date.
it was like this fall, but
Yeah.
there was not an official date announced.
Like, we know SmackDown is coming to USA in September, right? We don't have an exact date, but I think it is September.
That's quick. And then Raw is staying on USA through the end of the year.
Right,
Yeah.
until the Netflix deal kicks in.
That's going to be interesting, I think. I think it'll be nice not to have them bleeping out holy shit every week.
Yeah, please.
What was I listening to? Was it the Clash podcast that you and B-Rob did that y'all talked about Netflix?
Maybe.
Might have been that. I don't think they're gonna downsize the show at all. I think you're still getting a 3-hour show. Because that's what people are buying tickets for, and that's what they sold it as. So that's the event you're gonna get. But I do wonder if they're gonna structure it differently at all. With the lack of commercials, which doesn't Netflix have commercials now?
Yeah. Yeah, they have an ad-supported tier.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. But I'm intrigued to see it. Like, it'll be not. I assume that they will swear a little more, but you know, they still have the same audience.
Say whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, it's. I don't imagine they're going to deviate too much from what they currently do, but it'll be nice not to have USA censoring every second word of a promo because the crowd is chanting.
This has been so good lately that holy shit chants have become a problem. Like, almost every week there's a section that's just like almost completely muted because of that.
Yeah. Also, fans learned how to say the word fuck. That used to be reserved only for ECW back in the day. It did not happen elsewhere, but now it's happening everywhere. So everybody's got a potty mouth. They need to wash it out with soap.
People have lost their sense of shame.
Well,
anyways,
you guys got anything else to say about NXT before we get suckered into watching it again next week?
I don't know.
Nah.
Maybe I'll start watching.
Only if Joe Hendry's there.
That's the thing. He might be. And then you're going to have to watch.
That's very possible.
That's how they get you. Well, all right. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we will talk about a show that Joe Hendry is not on, AEW Dynamite. Didn't get all of it and want more of it? Support the show and sign up for the Patreon. For only $3 a month, you'll get exclusive access to Fatal 4 Podcast's Discord, where we hang out all week, chatting all things wrestling, video games, and who knows what. Plus, ad-free episodes of Didn't Get All of It and bonus content that you can't find anywhere else, like extra podcasts from the Fatal 4 and pilot episodes of new shows coming to the Fatal 4 Podcast Network. Your $3 goes a long way in helping keep the show going, so sign up today. That's patreon.com/Fatal4Pod.
And we're back. Unfortunately, it's Friday, so it's not Wednesday night. You know what that means. But Friday, you know what that means. It's time to talk about AEW Dynamite that happened this past week. Pretty good episode, I thought. Pretty strong. I feel like Dynamite's been a little spotty lately. There have been some really good episodes, some not so good ones. I think the not so good ones coinciding with a lot of Jericho, let's say. This episode, I just had one Jericho segment, and it was very short. So not
And it was
not as
pre-tape.
much. God, there was so much Jericho shit last week. Oh my god. Or no, the week before, I think. But oh my god.
Both. But yes.
Oh no. But yeah, not as much this week. Some interesting stuff from this episode, though. I think one thing that a lot of people are talking about is the Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland promo that happened as a way to promote their match that is happening at Forbidden Door in about a week and a half from now. About a week from now, actually. But pretty good. I feel like they're really heating this up. Things are starting to get personal. Swerve brought up Will Ospreay's son, which pissed him off rightly. I think that I don't think they're actually going to do it, but boy, if Swerve threw a t-shirt on his kid. they ran that back from his feud with Hangman.
I thought this was really good and like much needed for both of these guys and just for like the world title as a whole. A really like key part of the promo was Swerve talking about or rather Will Ospreay talking about how this is Swerve's first time main eventing a pay-per-view as world champion. And it's a good point because he hasn't done that yet. And then, Swerve kind of clapped back and said that this is Will Ospreay's first time main eventing a pay-per-view, period. Because of Swerve. And for the most part, they're friendly, they're friends, but if they need to get personal, they can. And, Will Ospreay was trying not to make it personal, and Swerve was by bringing up his son. Very heated exchange, very intense. Both guys delivered. I already wanted to see the match just because I like both these guys, and it's going to be a good wrestling match. Now I'm invested from like a story standpoint. This was just like a very I don't want to say prototypical, but like a great example of how to sell tickets. How to put butts in seats. And I thought it was really good.
I feel like they're doing a good job with Forbidden Door in that regard, because I feel like Dynasty ended up being a very good pay-per-view, but I feel like I was not like super excited going into it. But I am excited going into Forbidden Door. Between this and the ladder match that they're setting up, looks pretty crazy. There's stuff to be excited about going into Forbidden Door.
Also, I don't know. I wanted to bring this up. I don't know if this is me just overthinking it, but another point that Swerve was making during this promo was that Will Ospreay has had to rely on the Don Callis family and whether or not they were going to be a factor in this match. And Ospreay said he doesn't need anybody, and Swerve basically saying that he doesn't have any friends, and he kicked all his friends to the curb, and he walked all over them to get to where he is. All the while, Prince Nana is standing right next to Swerve.
Yeah,
and it's like, I don't know. I just felt like Nana was like, "Fuck me! Why you say fuck me for?" Like, and I don't know if that was like a deliberate thing. If they're leaning towards splitting those two up, I hope not. I don't think that's necessary. But I don't know. Just want to bring that up. And I agree with Noah that they are doing a better job of building up this pay-per-view than the last. Because there was some other good stuff on the show.
Yeah, like there was the women's world title contract signing between Tony Storm and Mina. Also, Mariah May was there, kind of conducting it.
I think I've been on the record numerous times as not being a Tony Storm fan. I have not enjoyed really anything she's done in her entire career, except for this
crazy.
Except for this segment, and I guess this program as a whole, I am invested. Although it's like not really because of Tony Storm, it's mostly because of the other two.
Mina's so great. I'm so glad that she's gotten very over in AEW.
Yeah. Mina Shirakawa is like one of my new favorite wrestlers.
Yeah. They've done a good job of promoting her
Can you
too.
give two
She's
reasons
gotten
why, Cody?
multiple kind of hype package videos.
I can give two reasons.
Two reasons.
I agree though. Like everything that I've seen from her has been quite enjoyable.
She's got personality.
Yeah, she brings a lot to the division, and I think they should try to keep her around.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a couple of her matches now in AEW, and they're good matches. She just has this like bubbly personality that just kind of like pops off the screen, but also she was really good in this segment. Like English, obviously not her first language, but I thought her promo was very, very good. It was clear, it was concise, and I liked when she told Mariah May to shut up. That was interesting. And Mariah May is very conflicted between the two. And then I say all this, and then it all went downhill when Saraya showed up.
God, I cannot believe that the Outcasts are still a thing.
They have a new Outcast now.
Yeah,
I actually like the
do.
pairing of putting Anna Jay in this group.
But why?
Why not? She ain't doing nothing.
I mean, sure, but like,
Gets her on
there's
TV.
there's so much of that in AEW of like, they're not doing anything, throw them in a group, and I'm getting sick of it. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, we're building up to a main event, or not a main event, but like a world title match at a pay-per-view that is very much centered around the three women in the ring. Why is Saraya coming out?
Well, I saw some people talking. Maybe the idea is you have Tony, Mina, and Mariah all have a like a 6-woman tag match against the Outcasts next week.
How can they
Dynamite?
coexist?
Yeah, but then like maybe they come to an understanding, and then like the title match at Forbidden Door isn't so contentious. Like they kind of go into it having more of an like a friendly understanding with. But then maybe that all falls apart at the last second for the actual match. I don't know. You can do some interesting stuff there.
Meh. I'd rather just have it be the two of them are fighting over the title and Mariah May's affection.
Yeah,
That's more interesting of a story to me.
love triangle.
Yeah.
Happy Pride.
Rainbow ladies again.
Rainbow ladies. These rainbow ladies in my wrestling.
Speaking of ladies,
taking over my Dynamite.
I do want to say one other lady-related thing from Dynamite. I really liked the Mercedes Moné video package that we got.
Oh yeah,
it was just kind of footage of her training and a pre-recorded promo, but I thought it was good, and I really liked
the OG rainbow lady. She had the rainbow hair.
I really liked how she called herself La Jefa, which if I just grab my Google Translate here real quick, that means the boss.
That's what she is. She's the CEO now, which is a kind of boss.
Yes, but
technically,
pretty sure the boss is trademarked by WWE.
But the Jefa
ain't. So,
well, speaking of Hefes, plural. The EVPs had a match in this episode against the Acclaimed, which I thought it was very good. The Acclaimed, Max Caster tried doing his trademark, raps as they were making their way to the ring, but his mic was cut off by other person in the elite group, Kazuchika Okada at Gorilla, like hit a button to kill his mic, and then said bitch into the camera like he's been doing, which is funny.
Yeah, I'm on board with this Kazuchika Okada character. Actually,
Yeah,
it's won me over the last few weeks. Him constantly saying bitch is really funny. I enjoy it, and I this popped me real big when he was like, "Oops, hit the wrong button, bitch."
it's the pause that really gets me. How deliberate he is with the bitch. But yeah, and then this match was good. It was kind of your standard EVPs, Bucks stuff, but I think something really refreshing about this match was the fact that the Acclaimed were wrestling somebody that wasn't Bullet Club Gold, which they were doing for like 6 months. And like, I don't get me wrong, I like Bullet Club Gold, but holy shit, they just could not get away from each other. It was nice seeing them wrestle someone who was not them. And then also the Acclaimed won. They got the win, which I was not expecting. So
yeah, I don't know. I think the trios division is a waste and should just be abolished. But I'm fine with them being back in the tag title picture because they don't really have a lot of strong tag teams right now.
Which is crazy because that's what AEW kind of used to be known for, was their very strong tag division. And yeah, now it's kind of I was really hoping for things to start moving when Private Party came back in full force, but yeah, still not.
They're too busy in the Jericho vortex.
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, that did happen later this episode, unfortunately. But something else that happened this episode was that we got to see the brackets for the Owen Hart tournament announced. The first of in that bracket happening in the main event of this episode of Dynamite, which was Claudio Castagnoli versus Pac, which Pac won, which I was very excited about. And then the other parts of it is Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi, Rey Fenix versus Jay White, and then Jeff Jarrett versus a wild card. Do we have any idea who the wild card could be? Are we
Joe Hendry?
Joe, that'd be crazy. Do we think
Definitely
it's
not?
Do we think it's
Shane
someone from either New Japan or perhaps? Maybe not an AEW person.
I'm guessing it's not an AEW person because otherwise, like, why bother doing it as a surprise? I definitely feel like it's a Forbidden Door type situation.
Do people want to see Jeff Jarrett versus Ricochet?
Oh man, you think so?
I mean, is that what else would it be?
Oh geez, it could be, couldn't it? I don't know. I think no joke, not even doing this as a bit. I think Jeff Jarrett should win this tournament.
Why?
Because he was like Owen Hart's best friend.
Okay.
So like let him have it.
That would be nice for him.
Sure.
The only issue with that is the winner of this does get a main event world title match at Wembley Stadium, which maybe Jeff Jarrett shouldn't be in that position.
That's to say, do you think Jeff Jarrett could go a whole main event length match by himself without a tag team to support him?
Sure.
Okay. It's got endurance. But yeah, Ricochet is an interesting guess.
It's certainly a guess.
Quite possibly. But then there's another bracket revealed for the women for their side of the Owen Hart tournament. We got Willow Nightingale versus Serena Deeb, Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander, which also happened on this episode of Dynamite. Love seeing Nyla Rose around, but I definitely knew going into this because much Chris Statlander is getting pushed that she was obviously going to win. It is so unfortunate. I have to stop for a sec. Sorry. It is so unfortunate how much Nyla Rose is not a star in this company anymore, because she was the second women's champion, and she used to be like on TV every single week, and now it's nice to see her on Twitter. Like, it really sucks how much she's not present in this company anymore.
It's because she doesn't have Vicky Guerrero anymore.
I don't know if that's the case.
Do you think Nyla Rose ever ends up in WWE?
Huh.
Maybe.
I don't know. They'd be lucky to have her, but yeah, I don't know. We also have Deonna Purrazzo versus Hikaru Shida, and then Mariah May versus Saraya, which I guess you're seeing a little bit of that tied into what happened during that contract signing there. Who are we seeing in the finals here? I would love to see Mariah go all the way. I feel like Serena Deeb and Chris Statlander will no, actually, hang on. It's probably Willow and Chris in the semifinals, huh?
Definitely. I forget, does the winner of this one get a women's world title match at Wembley?
That's a good question.
I would assume so, right?
Yeah,
so,
I would think so.
right?
Why wouldn't it?
So. Equality, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that case, I would think Willow Nightingale would win, but I could also see Mariah May winning and them doing Mariah May versus Toni Storm.
I would love Mariah May to get a push. Also, yeah, that's that interesting match is Mariah May versus Toni Storm.
Because I feel like you gotta split them up eventually, and I know she's like all conflicted between the story they're doing now, but like this could be the way to kind of force the hand, if you will, and have it be, well, she won the tournament, she's got to wrestle Toni Storm for the title.
Yeah. Also, what's Mariah's relationship with Mina going to be after Forbidden Door? We don't know that yet. So,
also, all joking aside, I think it's pretty clear that Bryan Danielson is winning the men's.
Yeah,
because there's nobody else on that bracket looking at it right now that could main event Wembley.
And this is his last year, right? Or at least he said as much, that this is his last year as a in-ring professional wrestler.
Yeah, full time at least.
Yeah. So
unless they're giving it to Ricochet,
we could
maybe they backed up the truck.
Yeah,
for Ricochet and promised him a main event at Wembley Stadium.
But instead of Ricochet, what if it was Shane McMahon?
I said that.
Ooh.
Let's talk about. Let's really get into this.
I don't think it warrants getting into.
There's rumors.
There's not rumors.
Someone said something on a podcast. That's where this comes from, right?
What? A podcast? They gotta stop letting people have those.
Yeah, Conrad Thompson said on this podcast that
shocking,
or said on JR's podcast that there was a friend of his that sent him a text that said it was not crazy to think Shane McMahon joining AEW was a possibility. That Shane McMahon had reached out to wrestlers on the AEW roster, at least hypothetically discussing the idea.
I mean, he is friends with Edge and Christian. So, but
like, what does he do? Because like so much of his identity
tables.
in WWE,
his job is tables.
Like he was the former son, right? Yeah, his job is tables.
Former son. He's still
former boss's son, not former son. Because his dad ain't working there no mo.
He could be an EVP.
Boss. That's what I'm thinking. That would be because he's all about the money.
Yeah, and he bought in.
Yeah, put him in that stable. I feel like that makes sense.
I don't think this is a good idea at all.
I think. Are you kidding me? I would love it. I think it would be huge for AEW. I think it would draw them a lot of attention.
Yeah,
for a McMahon to show up on AEW television, like that will be headlines, and
put
that
him in
will
a cage
generate
match
buzz.
with Edge.
Whether
neither
he's
guy walks out.
whether he's an on-screen character or an in-ring competitor, I think it would be a huge draw. And if this is an actual possibility, I think all sides should try to make it happen.
It'd certainly be something.
I want to see him and Darby Allin jumping off of shit together.
Oh, you want him to be Darby's new daddy?
Sure.
Darby needs a daddy.
He's a new Sting.
I'm your dad now. And then
Maybe he's like Uncle Shane.
yeah. And then Christian Cage shows up.
We've got enough. We've
heard
already
someone
talked
say
about
dad.
enough uncles in wrestling doing shit.
Keep the uncles out of wrestling.
Anyways. But
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. It'd be very silly if it was. And like Cody said, it'd be business. But yeah, my percentage chance of that happening to me seems low. But
I don't know. I never say never in pro wrestling. That's all I'm saying.
Certainly true. The last couple of years are proof enough of that. But that was Dynamite this week. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say about it, but I thought it was pretty good.
Better than it's been.
Yes.
Yeah. Headed in the right direction. Hopefully
that
they
direction
deliver
being less
Forbidden
Jericho.
Door.
And yes, I hope they deliver with Forbidden Door.
Well, if that's Dynamite, we've talked about everything there's to talk about. We didn't get all of it, but we'll try again next week. In the meantime, if you didn't get all of it and just your first time listening, thanks. We hope you subscribe. You know how to do that. You're listening on a podcast app. Go and hit the subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, why don't you consider checking out our Patreon? Only $3 a month gets you exclusive access to the Discord where we chat all week with all the fans and us and have a good old time. And there's watch-alongs and there's a whole bunch of hooting and hollering going on in there. Come join that. You also get ad-free episodes exclusive to the Patreon feed and bonus content like the pilot episode of Didn't Get All of It Japan that B-Rob hosts that is probably coming to a podcast feed near you quite soon. And if you missed anything I just said, head over to fatal4pod.com, fatalfourpod.com for all of the things. Am I forgetting anything, boys?
I think that's it. I think that's an episode, folks.
That's the show. Bye.
We did it.